Hey guys, it's Deanie with Realm Plays here, and today we're going to be discussing the new and improved Realm of the Mad God rework, as well as a very interesting white bag drop. So the rework is finally here, and man, is it a step in the right direction. There's tons to do in the realm, and it no longer feels like empty space. And not only that, there are brand new enemies too, as well as some new overworld bosses and biome UTs, but we'll get into that later. I feel it's made the game less of a grind, and what I mean by that is they've cut down a lot of the time it takes to grind stat pots, as stats go up with levels a little more than they used to, and not only that, almost everything in the realm can drop a stat pot, and they tend to do it frequently. Now, back to those biome UTs, there's items you can get only in the realm, such as this guy right here. It wasn't until after this video I realized you could still use the Cavalry Lance. It just doesn't have the dash mechanic because apparently it's really buggy right now. But anyways, back to what I was saying. Deck has provided us with more reasons to play Realm of the Mad God with new biomes, new weapons and armor, new mobs, new bosses, new everything. They completely blew it out of the water with this one. I really like what they've got going so far. It's until what kind of crazy new dungeon they'll come up with. Me personally, I would like to see more mid-game content and a couple of new in-game dungeons. And by mid-game content, I mean in dungeons around the same difficulty as the Sulphurous Wetlands. There just seems to be a lack of mid-game content with Realm of the Mad God, but the new realm kind of makes up for it with areas of the map designed for rookie players to the pro players. Coming from someone who has played Realm for many years, I honestly don't see a reason to play in the old realms. Of course, there is still one of the old realms open, but after playing the rework, I can't really find a reason to go back to them. After putting some time in, I discovered a way to accumulate a lot of stat pots in a short amount of time. My strategy is go to a freshly opened realm, and from the start beacon follow the paths to the other beacons, and with the right character you can get roughly 7 to 8 stat pots in just 5 minutes or less. And compared to the old realms, that's a massive difference because stat pots didn't drop in the realm too frequently, but with the new realms, you can max a character without ever having to step foot in a dungeon. It would be tedious for sure, but it could be done. Now don't get me wrong, we played on the old realms for many years, and it had its own charm to it, but it's amplified times 1,000 with the rework. I enjoy the fact that if I want to find a specific dungeon, I can farm in a specific location for that dungeon, instead of hoping I find the god that drops it in the Godlands, and even then, it wasn't always guaranteed. I can say with the rework that dungeons now drop more frequently, and not only that, the Court of Oryx dungeons can now drop in the realms, with some of them being tied to event bosses, and others just dropping from mobs. I see Nidarian Reef all the time. Sometimes there's even a secluded thicket and a high-tech terror. Now let's talk about some of the things I don't like, and I completely understand that it's still in beta, but my biggest complaint would be there just isn't enough realms. And not only that, the 85 count realms aren't cutting it anymore. There's almost always a line of people waiting to get in, which is an easy fix with the realms being much bigger than before. They can easily up the realm count. But with that being said, I feel as if the realms close too frequently. It seems like in no time we're going to Oryx when I'm in a fresh realm. That's really the only gripes I have with this update. It's a near perfect update, although some of you may think different, but for people like me who know the grind it took to max a character on the other realm, I appreciate this update as it lets us cut down on the grind and get to the fun stuff in the in-game content as soon as possible. I do enjoy grindy games as long as it's a fun kind of grind. I don't like dying and having to farm for 2 to 3 hours to get back to the fun stuff, but I do enjoy fighting the same boss over and over for that adrenaline rush when a white bag drops with that piece of gear I've been looking for a long time. It's so rewarding. Not only do pots drop more frequently, but I've heard white bags do too. They used to be really rare, but in a 4 to 5 hour session, I find myself getting at least 2 or 3. But even then, it's not always the gear I was hoping for. It's really the luck of the draw. Before the Forge came out, I farmed 30 UDLs until I got a Doom Bow, but man, when I got that Doom Bow, I was hyped. Well, at least until I lost it by being cocky in a haunted cemetery. Whether you guys are new players or returning players like me, there's plenty to like here. With all kinds of quality of life improvements, it makes the game more fun to play and more accessible for new players in my opinion. But anyways guys, I hope you enjoyed this video. be sure to like, comment, and subscribe, as this video took me a good while to put out because I have a busy schedule and it's hard for me to really put the time in to make videos. But I do when I can, and after the great feedback from last video, I don't see myself slowing down anytime soon. I'm also starting a Discord server so you guys can play with us or just pop in and say hi, and I'll make sure to link that down in the description below. But as always, go out there and have some fun, and until next time, don't forget to keep on realming.